Mad Alliance was howling as Joe, aka Mad Joe Up C. This is going to be my movie review for Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. And this is going to be a spoiler review. Okay, there's not really any big spoilers really to talk. We all know that Janet is coming back. We all know there's minor spoilers, if anything. So, yeah, this is going to be just me talking about any and everything in the movie. I guess first I'll talk about how I think compared to the first Ant-Man. First, I love Marvel films, so I was going to enjoy this film regardless. But it isn't like I wasn't hyped for the movie. I mean, I guess I want to say I was hyped for it. I was excited for it. But I enjoyed this film just as much as I enjoyed the first film. I can't say I enjoyed this film better than the first, not yet. Because even though this is the day after the night that I've seen the film, I mean, still, just bits of hype and stuff. So I can't say I enjoyed it better than the first film. And honestly, I don't think I enjoyed it better than the first film. I'm not saying it was bad. I enjoyed this just as much as the first film. That's how good this film was. And a lot of people actually enjoyed the second film better than the first film, but I enjoyed this film as much as the first film because I am one of the people who actually really enjoyed the first film. And a lot of people did, but it's things like people felt like the writing and the whole villain overall was watered down and didn't feel like, he was, I guess, there as much in the first Ant-Man film. But I really enjoyed Cross in the first Ant-Man film. I enjoyed him as a villain. I enjoyed seeing the final battle with Ant-Man and Yellow Jacket. I enjoyed the comedy in the movie. I enjoyed seeing Scott Lang become Ant-Man. I enjoyed everything in the especially Falcon versus Ant-Man is a little bit of the Avengers facility. So when I think of all that stuff, I can't say I like the second film better when I enjoyed the second film just as much as everything that happened in the first film. So they're pretty much on par with me. As far as everything goes, Scott Lang, as far as the comedy goes, as far as the villain goes. So first, I guess I'll talk about the characters and then probably I'll talk about the plot before I talk about the characters. So, the plot, I'm not saying all Marvel films have the same exact plot, because that's not true. But this plot felt different than other Marvel films, because this plot is basically a cat and mouse game between three different parties. You have Scott, Hope, and Hank, who are they need the building with all the tech in it, because it has the quantum tunnels so that they could go in the quantum realm and get Janet back. So that's their goal. That's why they want the building. Then the antagonist Ghost, she wants the villain because she wants the building because she needs the tech in there to save her life. Pretty much would kill Janet, but yeah, she needs the quantum tunnel as well, that quantum energy to, help with her cells and save her life. And then you have Johnny, who wants the building just for profit and to make money with all the, nice tech in there. So the plot is pretty much, it isn't your bad guy rises, we have to stop him, we have to stop them before they accomplish this type plot. It's just, the plot is pretty much just a cat and mouse game of three different parties wanting or needing this item for their own specific reasons. So I enjoyed that because it's very, you saw that cat and mouse throughout the entire film. The Pyms and Scott, Ghost, and then Johnny, those three factors through the entire film were trying to get the building the whole time, which led to that awesome cat and mouse chase scene near the end of the movie between Johnny and Ghost and, you know, the Pyms and Scott. So that made for a really good, not really a final battle per se, but see, like, that's what I'm saying. The plot in this movie felt different than other Marvel films. It wasn't really structured like other Marvel films, and that's something I really enjoyed because they did it well. You know, they did it well, structuring it differently than other Marvel films. It felt good. It felt fresh, and I liked that. So yeah, I'll talk about the characters now. So Scott, there's not really too much to say. I mean, he's been under house arrest for, you know, 2 years since Civil War, and he's about to, you know, he's almost done with his house arrest. And right when he's almost done, that's when Hope and Hank are perfecting the quantum tunnel. They open it for a very brief time, and because they opened it and Scott was in the quantum realm for a short period of time in the first Ant-Man movie, them opening the quantum tunnel triggered his mind when he was, you know, sleeping. And so for a brief second, Janet was able to pretty much put a message or kind of get inside his head for a little bit to be able to help Hope and Scott perfect the quantum tunnel and be able to open up the quantum realm. So that's where Scott Lang plays into this Ant-Man the Wasp movie. That's where he comes in because they need him since Janet put, you know, a message inside his head. That's why they need Scott. That's the whole reason he's even brought into this film. So that's all I pretty much have to, and his suit, not the Civil War suit, but the new suit in this movie, obviously. So I kind of liked this and I kind of didn't like it at times. The new suit, it was, you know, a new prototype. It wasn't finished yet, and it had problems and malfunctions and stuff, as Hank said. And so we saw that. And what I didn't like it, the reason I didn't like it at times is because I wanted to be able to see Scott use this new suit and whatever new capabilities it had, but we didn't really see that. But the suit having malfunctions and not being finished and stuff, that made for some really good, entertaining, and funny comedic scenes, especially the scene when he was in the school and he walked, like, when the guy, he was like, "Hey, you, where's your hall pass?" And, you know, it was kind of short, so it looked like he was just a child, and then he just ran off. And then, especially when he was running out of the school, my whole theater was dying at this part. When he got ran out of the school, he hopped in the car, and Hank was just like, "Hiya, champ, how was school?" Everyone died at that part. It was hilarious. So, and then also near the end when he had to get the building back from Johnny, you know, we got to see Giant Man again, so that was really cool. I'm wondering if he had got taller than he was in Civil War, because, see, I do a lot of thinking like this. I love these superheroes. I love these movies a lot, so I do thinking like this. In Civil War, when Scott turned into Giant Man, he didn't pass out. He just fell because of, you know, the Avengers knocked him over. Spidey, Iron Man, and War Machine, they knocked him over. He never passed out. As he never even felt woozy as Giant Man in Civil War. But then in Ant-Man the Wasp, after just being Giant Man for a short time, he completely passed out. And Wasp had said he got too tall. So that makes me wonder if he was tall, because I couldn't really tell. But I'm wondering if that was the tallest that we've seen Ant-Man in the MCU. I'm wondering if in that scene with the boat, if he got taller than he did in Civil War. That's just something that I'm wondering. But yeah, due to the suit malfunction and stuff, it gave us some really cool at times, and then at other times some really funny and comedic scenes with Scott. And he's like really a comedic relief character, like Spider-Man is in the MCU. In the MCU, Ant-Man is like a really comedic character. Wasp is the one I want to talk about. Wasp. Hope I already liked Hope from the first Ant-Man. I already liked her character as it was. Now seeing her, also I like her long hair in this second film. Seeing her, she was awesome as Wasp. I need to see more Wasp in the MCU, which makes me sad that something happened at the end that we'll talk about. But she stole the show in every scene. For me, she stole the show in every scene that she was in as Wasp. And the thing is, Ant-Man is the main one, but he doesn't. I mean, yeah, he was trained a little bit by Hope in the first film how to fight, and you know they've been. Hope said that before the Civil War thing, him and her were trained together, so he has some training, but you can tell that she can fight. She knows how to fight way more than he can, because when she was trying to get you know, her cash back and the thing that she needed from Johnny to complete the quantum tunnel, that fight scene there when she took out his goons, she was going savage hardcore. It was awesome to see Wasp in action for the first time. I enjoyed it very much, and seeing her in action, it was when she was taking out his goons, and then again when she was taking out his goons in the final, you know, chase scene. I need her suit. That's one thing I want to speak about is the CGI. See, I know this is probably the one film where I have no problems whatsoever with the CGI. When it comes to the phasing and stuff on Ghost, when it came to Wasp and Ant-Man, the huge ants walking around, Giant Man, I didn't see an issue. I didn't see an issue with the CGI. I really didn't. Okay, the CGI was perfect on this film. Speaking of CGI and Giant Man and everything, one thing I really like about the Ant-Man films is, since, you know, they shrink and grow in size, I really enjoy seeing that in the movies, in the Ant-Man movies, because in any other MCU movie we don't get to see that. But since that's, you know, Ant-Man the Wasp, that's their ability, that's what their tech does for them. I like how they made use of that, you know, especially with Wasp, her fighting choreography. Like I've discussed already, she fights better than Scott does. So seeing the way that I liked the way that the shrinking and growing was utilized in this movie. I really, really liked it. You saw Scott go to different sizes. Like, he got giant before, but then he had got even taller. Then, you know, he got small. Then he got like the size of, you know, a toddler. And then Wasp, I really loved the way that her shrinking and growing was utilized during her fight scenes. She executed perfectly. She would shrink when she needed to dodge. She would grow back when she needed to, you know, have enough force to kick through a window, or something like that. I loved the way that the shrinking and growing was utilized, mostly for Wasp per fight season choreography. There's not too much to say about Hank. I mean, he was pretty much there. You know, he was like, wow, Scott escaped from the quantum realm. If he's able to do that, what if Janet is alive somewhere down there? And so he's the one who made the plans for the quantum tunnel, because it was his thought to try and bring to see if Janet was alive in the quantum realm. So yeah, other than that, there's not really too much to talk about Hank. Well, it was cool seeing him get in the kind of like the red, I wouldn't call it an Ant-Man suit, I guess, but it was cool seeing him. I was hoping we would see that sometime in the MCU. Even though he's older, I was like, it would be really cool to see him suit up one more time, present day, in the MCU. So I really enjoyed seeing him suit up, and it was him that was the one to go and find his wife and get her back, while Hope and Scott handled things above the surface on Earth. I I enjoyed that a lot. Seeing him suit up one more time. Lewis, he stole the show again. Every scene he was in was pure gold. Especially the moment with the truth serum, and you know, he was spewing out everything. He had even told his partners that, you know, they were going broke. That was hilarious. And then the truth serum is what made is what gave us another, you know, Lewis story chattering scene like we had got from the first Ant-Man. Lewis, they never need to get rid of Lewis. Lewis stole the show again in every single scene that he was in. And I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed this whole Lewis and this ex-cons group thing within the Ant-Man films. And I enjoy how they expanded on them from the first film to the second film. Because in this film, the way that they played a part in the first film, they played a part in the second film as well. And they, you know, they played a bigger part in this film, I feel, than they did in the first film. So I really like how they're not just there for, you know, comedy, but they actually play significant roles of their own within these films. So I enjoy that they're not just there for nothing. It was cool seeing Cassie and her family again. I really love how you see how close they've gotten, you know, Scott's ex-wife and her new husband, how close this family is. Family is one of the main, like, points of this movie, because you have the Penn family, and then you have Scott and his family. So family is one of the main things that you see within these Ant-Man films. So I enjoy how much closer that the family has gotten. We already saw at the end of the first Ant-Man that, you know, they were all good with each other. They were close. So in this film, you just see that expanded over the 2 years. Not really too much to say. I mean, I'm not going to talk about everyone. After Janet, I'm only going to talk about like 2 more people. That's Billy Foster and Ghost. But there's not too much to say about Janet because she wasn't in the film too much, really. She really wasn't. I mean, this was gold. This was comedic gold. When when Scott, Hope, and Hank were all inside of the building at the quantum tunnel, and Janet got inside of Scott's head, from Paul Rudd having to act like a female, from him holding Hank's hand, to rubbing Hope's face, you know, that scene was comedic gold. I loved that scene of everyone lost it at that scene with Janet inside of Scott's head. And then, you know, when it's over, Scott's just like, wait, what? What is happening? How are we even up here, you know? But yeah, when she was we saw her in the quantum realm, then when she got out of the quantum realm, and I liked how, you know, she helped temporarily fix Ghost, I guess. But other than that, we didn't see her much. We didn't see much of Janet, so there's not really too much to say about her, except that the quantum realm has definitely changed her. She's not the same person that she was 30 years ago from being in the quantum realm so long. I guess it's taken physical tolls on her body. I guess it's done things to her body, things that we don't know yet, things that could be explored in the future. I actually enjoyed seeing Billy Foster and the Ghost. It was cool. It's cool to know that at a time in the MCU in the past, Goliath was a thing. He existed, you know, worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. It's cool to know that Goliath was a thing in the MCU. We'll never see it. Probably we'll never see it, but it's cool to know that it was a thing in the MCU. And his connection to, I was not expecting him to have a connection to Ghost. It was almost like finding out that Adrian Toomes was the dad of Liz. It wasn't as big as that, but it was like that. I was like my whole theater was like, whoa. Like, he wasn't Ghost's dad, but, you know, he just cared for Ghost. But I wasn't expecting him to have any connection with Ghost. I don't know if it's something I should have expected, but I definitely didn't. Me and my brother just looked at each other. We were like, whoa. Like, when he just walks out from I was like, whoa. But Ghost herself, I don't see her as a villain. Definitely, because she didn't have any villainous, she was literally just a person who was trying to save her life. She didn't have any villainous intentions. She didn't want, I mean, I guess you could say to an extent she wanted revenge on Hank, maybe, but I didn't see it there. I literally just saw Ghost as a girl who was trying to get this building, but for no villainous intentions. She wanted this building because she needed to open the quantum realm to save her life. But in the process, she would be killing Hank's wife to do that, and she didn't care if that's what it took to do it. So I guess you could see her, you know, even though she wasn't too much of a villain, she did have some, I guess, somewhat selfish motives. I mean, yeah, you could say, well, Joe, she wanted to do this to save her life. But yeah, I get that, but at the cost of someone else's life? So that's the way I see it. I guess you could see it as a little bit of selfish motives. But as far as villainous intentions, she didn't have any villainous intentions. She really didn't. She just wanted to save her life. And after that, she probably would have just went on to everyday life just being a normal person. So, yeah, I really don't see her as a villain. I just see her as an antagonist. And Johnny, he didn't have any villainous purposes either. He just wanted to make money off of the tech. So I feel there's a difference between a villain and an antagonist. An antagonist is someone who is, I guess, just... An antagonist is just someone who's in your way, someone who you pretty much have to stop for a certain reason. A villain is someone who has evil intentions, someone who has bad intentions. There is a difference between a villain and an antagonist. So I don't see Ghost as an antagonist, but I like that they didn't. I'm so glad that they didn't kill her off in any type of way. And I like how, well, I'll talk about that when I get to the post credits actually. But yeah, I like how she was kept alive. I like how Janet, you know, kind of helped temporarily fix her at the end, and she's pretty much, you know, just a good person now because she, like, the whole time she never had any villainous intentions. She just wanted to save herself. I definitely didn't think she was Killmonger level or Loki level in terms of, like, interesting villains, but it isn't like she was as uninteresting as Malekith or Caecilius, you know. Whenever I saw her on screen, I wasn't bored. I was interested in what she was doing, and when we knew her story, I was like, wow, you kind of feel bad. So I enjoyed seeing her on screen, and I think would I say I enjoyed her more than Cross? I don't know if I could say that. I think I enjoyed them both on the same level. I had about the same interest level for both of them, which wasn't too high, but I had about the same interest level for Cross and for Ghost. Other than that, I don't think there's too much more to talk about with the film. So the very ending of the film was all happy and peaches and rainbows and sunshine, you know. you have Scott and Hope and his daughter in the car watching the film, and then before that you had like their family reunite. Everything, Scott's off of house arrest. Everything's all happy and peaches and rainbows. So the movie, the actual ending of the film is happy. Then the post-credit scene. So Scott, they have the ex-con van and a miniature quantum tunnel, and they perfected how to go in and out of it. And, they're helping Ghost. I liked that. Ghost is still alive. She didn't die, and she's a good person, and they're helping her. So Scott, he goes in to get some of this quantum energy to help Ghost, and then you just hear 5, 4, 3, and Scott, he just thinks that they're joking and stuff. And, he's like, guys, this is the moment my heart dropped. When it showed Hope and Hank and Janet, it was no warning. It was no warning, guys. It didn't show them disperse. It just showed the leftover dust. My heart, I swear to God, my heart dropped. I felt my heart. I haven't felt like that since the ending of Infinity War. My heart dropped. I felt it. I was like, I didn't feel so good. No pun intended. But pun intended. I meant to do that, to be honest. But yeah, I literally, I'm not exaggerating. I felt my heart drop to my stomach, because I wasn't guys, if I was expecting anyone to turn to dust, these are the only 3 people I was expecting to turn into dust. Cassie, her mom, and the mom's new husband. I wasn't expecting anyone else to Hank, Janet, and Hope are 3 main characters. The other 3 main characters within the Ant-Man movies. I didn't expect the other main 3 characters to turn into dust. I wasn't expecting it. So when that happened, I was like, I remember my brother, me and my brother pretty much had the same reaction. Okay. I felt my heart drop. I looked over to my brother while the credits were rolling after that happened. He was like, I'm still not over that yet. I was like, me neither. I'm not over that yet. That was insane. Okay. And so Scott, sir, I definitely think Scott being in the quantum realm saved him. Okay. I don't know if he was out of it, if he would have been out of the quantum realm, if he would have turned it to dust as well. I don't know. But I definitely think him being in the quantum realm is something that saved him from it happening. And you have to think, I like to think of little things like this. You have to think, around the time that the post-credit scene started, around that time, Thor was throwing an axe. Thor was shoving an axe into the chest of Thanos. Around the exact time that post-credit scene started, Thor was shoving an axe into Thanos' chest. So yeah, just the way that all these different things in this universe are going on at the same time is just kind of cool to think about. So now the thing is, how is Scott going to get out? And I want to talk about this because I have 2 theories of how he's going to get out. One is through a time vortex, because before he went into the quantum tunnel, Janet has said, because Janet knows a lot more about the quantum realm than they do. She's been there for 30 plus years. She's been all around it, figured things out. So she warned Scott of the time vortexes, which basically is a vortex. So if you go through it, I guess when you come out, you'll come out in a different time period. You could come out in the future, you could come out in the past. So that's pretty much what a time vortex is. So maybe Scott will go through one of these time vortexes that she warned him about. He'll come out sometime in the past or maybe sometime in the future. And if he comes out sometime in the future, then that could explain the older version of Cassie, because we already know that there's been a teenage casting for Cassie in Avengers 4. So Time Vortex could be one way. This way, I know it sounds kind of weird and probably not. I mean, it sounds kind of plausible. And this also takes us to the second post-credit scene where we see the ant playing the drums. My second theory is, what if Scott uses the ants to help get him out of the quantum realm? Because we saw how they can control the ants in the first film. We saw Scott control the ants in the second film to get Hope her suit while her and Hank were in jail or in custody. So I see it as something that could be plausible. Scott uses the ants if he's able to control them while being inside the quantum realm. If he can do that, then he could control the ants maybe, and they could get him out of the quantum realm. And I want to talk about the second post-credit scene too. I know it was pretty much just a gag credit scene, and it was, just showed the decoy ant in place of Scott playing the drums. But it showed the house empty because, Scott wasn't there, obviously. But the TV is what was the chilling thing, is what gave you chills. On the TV, it said, I think it said, state of emergency, and it was like that beeping, sound. So, you just had this feeling of the world was in disarray after the snap, And then after that, it says Ant-Man and the Wasp will return. Question mark. I was actually a bit okay. It said Ant-Man and Wasp will return. I was like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit good. Then they had to stab a dagger through my heart with the question mark. Question mark. We know Ant-Man will be back, but Wasp, we really don't know that. So, yeah. I thought I was going to walk out of this movie. This was supposed to be the chill movie after the despair that was Infinity War, which this movie was chill movie. Beginning through end, the entire thing was happy. It's the post-credit scene that killed me. It's the post-credit scene that ripped my heart into shreds. I walked out of this movie feeling pretty much almost, not exactly the same way, but pretty much almost the same way that I felt after watching Infinity War. Because, yeah, the actual ending of the film was happy, but, of course, I love these movies. I love these heroes. I care about this stuff. This stuff is important to me more than just a casual moviegoer. So, of course, I'm going to stay for the post-credit scene, and of course, I'm going to be affected by the post-credit scene. So, yeah, I still don't think I'm over it. Like I said, that's the only way I can explain it. I felt my heart drop when I saw them as dust. I'm still not over it. I'm still not over it. I remember my brother telling me while the credits were rolling, he was like, yeah, I'm not over that yet. Yeah, me neither. Man, let me know what your reactions were to the post-credit scene, to the first post-credit scene. Let me know what your reactions were, and let me know how you enjoyed Ant-Man and the Wasp. So this was my review. I don't really have a rating for it. I really don't. But I enjoyed it, okay? I enjoyed it. I didn't really have any issues with it. I really didn't have any issues with it. It's just that I wasn't too hyped for it. I was excited for it. Because, I'm going to watch it and I'm going to enjoy it regardless. But it's like I was hype, as if it was Infinity War or Civil War, I didn't have that level of hype, but I was definitely excited for it. And I enjoyed it just as much as the first film. So this is my review for Marvel's Ant-Man and the Wasp. I hope you all enjoyed. Links are on my social media. Will be down below in the description box. Smash the like button. Share this video with anyone you feel would enjoy. If you are new around here and you like what you see, tap the subscribe button and ding dong the notification bell to join the Mad Alliance on our journey to 100,000 subscribers. My name's Joe, aka Mad Joe FC. Hope y'all have a marvelous day. Mad out. Mad. Strong. Together.